Listen to this.
There's certain things a father is supposed to instill in a child, and there are certain things a mother is supposed to instill, in a child as well. But now we've got this problem now. The problem we have is especially when it comes to men, we have men who have been overmothered. Men who have failed to be unplugged from their mothers. Yes, because now when your mother looks at you, it doesn't matter how old you are. She just looks at a baby boy, right? And that is very wrong. You fail to be what? To be independent in a way. But now when your father looks at you, he's looking at a future man who's going into the world, and he knows the world is what? Is harsh. So he's going to be a little bit harsh with you. Not that he hates you, but he's preparing you for what's to come. But now when you remove the father, the child is being raised by the mother. I'm not saying we have certain situations whereby a single mother can raise a boy successfully, right? But I'm saying when you take out fathers, right, that certain influence, you remove it, right? And then you have to consider that this boy at home, he's with the mother. At school, when you look at the majority of teachers, they are women. He's with a woman as well, right? And then what is he watching when he comes back from school? When he switches on his TV, mainstream media is pushing what? The feminist propaganda. When he goes on social media, what is he reading? What is he viewing? Feminist propaganda. So you tend to have this man, right? He's biologically a man, but psychologically what? A woman.
So, I mean, what just this thing that this man just said now is so true because I have experienced it, right? Look, like you cannot overemphasize the role of a father in a child's life. Now, my father was in my life for sure, but when my dad died, I realized that there were things I missed. For example, I was now around 26, 27, and my mom was still calling me a child. And how am I supposed to grow when your mom still feel at 27, 28, you are still a child? You know, I want to go out to do something, and when it doesn't work out, it feels I come back. My mom pampers me and said, "Yeah, my baby, don't worry, you can't do this. You are still very small." You know, I tried to get into a relationship, right? And my mom was like, "You are still a child. You can't do that." You know, so there was certain level of things that I began to miss, because if it were to be my dad before, if we were still alive, I'm very much sure that whenever I had a difficulty, right, in any situation, he would have understand, and he would have had to try to put me or mentor me through a very, very, very suitable path. Like I give example of what my dad did for me before he died. Immediately I finished secondary school, my dad imported some photocopy machine, two of them from Lagos, and tried to set me up for a little business before I could enter school. It was just trying to make me understand that look, you're a man and there are some things you have to start doing for yourself. But when my dad died, my mom was still calling me a baby at 27, at 28, till I had to take a step and say, no, I have to leave. That's what informed me to actually leave my father's house to start my own life and start my own career. That's a very great thing. A child has to have his father in his life and not too much of the mother, because the mother will be there to pamper, but the father will be there to discipline and put the child in the right track, because life is very cruel, man. So the child needs to understand that early. Peace out. See you in another one.